Shakespeare is dog shit. Well, if anybody would know about being dog shit, it would be Amy Schumer, who wrote and stars in Kinda Pregnant, a Netflix original from the director of Father of the Year. Not to be confused with that song, Playmate of the Year. Whoa! Yeah, Playmate of the Year! Arrest every goddamn person that put even a buck towards funding this film. Leave no one fucking standing. I'm not even going to mix words. This movie made me wish that comedy had never been invented. I don't know why this was funded. I don't know who this was for. I don't know what ancient totem anybody knocked over to warrant having to put up with an Amy Schumer movie in 2025. Between Amy Schumer and Awkwafina, it is a competition between two grade AAs, and that's really all I can say right there. I want to say so many words, so many mean words about Amy Schumer that I can't say because I don't want to get banned. I really don't want to get in trouble, but I would like to know who keeps giving her projects like this, who keeps thinking that Amy Schumer deserves to have any more films where she's the lead. If she's part of an ensemble cast, at least she can be hidden because she's not funny. She is not capable of being funny. She's not capable of being goddamn genuine. She just does the same slapstick bullshit constantly for days and days, film after goddamn film, and this is a prime goddamn example. I mean, there was another writer, Julie Paiva, and I'm not even going to knock her because I'm going to solely put this on Amy Schumer because she is the star, she helped write this, and she plays Lainey, who grew up with Katie, who's played by Jillian Bell, who's a terrific actress, by the way, and they are two best friends, and their idea was to get pregnant, have children. Lainey's dream was to have a family. Well, that ends up going tits up when her relationship ends, and Kate ends up pregnant, and Lainey decides, I'm jealous, I want to have that attention, so she puts on one of those little sack things, those fake pregnancy deals, and then ends up having friendships and meets the man of her dreams, and then can't just come out and say, hey, I lied, I just wanted attention, I'm actually a good person. Amy Schumer probably isn't a very good person. Maybe she is, I don't know, I've never really gotten that from her, but Amy Schumer, as far as any character, just seems to be playing an extension of herself. She couldn't do that. No, she does this because she's purely jealous. That's the premise of this slog, this goddamn it's like going through a trough of septic sewage, except going through septic sewage, smelling septic sewage would stink less than whatever the fuck it is that Amy Schumer calls comedy and calls acting. This goddamn ready-to-burst douchebag that probably smells worse than a goddamn douchebag. You have to be kidding me that this film was meant to actually be consumed by anybody with a working brain, with any knowledge, that other than maybe, okay, this is probably going to end up being mindless entertainment. The key word there is entertainment. There's not even a mind. It's just less. It's less entertainment with each goddamn passing scene. I'm just going to be as mean-spirited as possible and say that everybody in this film deserves a whole lot better except Amy Schumer. She has made a career off of being the most untalented, goddamn nauseating douchebag. And I'm not saying looks. I'm not saying any of that. I'm talking about her humor, her persona, the mere fact that she exists. Her parents need to be charged with war crimes for bringing her into this world. And actually, retroactively, let's go charge her grandparents for bringing the parents into this world that then brought the hell that is Amy Schumer to us. And let's go back a little further. Let's go to the great. There's another great in their grandparents. And then let's just go all the way to Amy Schumer because there's no reason why Amy Schumer should exist in this goddamn world. Maybe I'm getting too upset, but I don't really goddamn care. I do not care at this point if this is going to be seen as mean-spirited. Do you really care if this film is actually analyzed at all? If you saw this film, you know why it's terrible. If you saw the trailer, you know why it's terrible. If you saw the poster, if you read the premise, if you've seen any Amy Schumer movie or interview, you know why it is going to be horrible. By the way, Brienne Howie, pretty goddamn good actress. Lizzie Broadway, you had Damon Wayans Jr. for some reason he was in this. Haley Griffith was in They, Them. Molly Sims, who remembers Molly Sims? She had a brief role in this. Former model, maybe a current model, I don't know. So, it's from Happy Madison Productions. And Adam Sandler wouldn't even put himself in this. Hey, at least it doesn't have Rob Schneider, so that's a good thing. But yeah, I do not understand why this was pitched. I do not understand why people thought this was a good idea. I don't see how this is going to help Netflix turn the corner as far as producing quality original content. Why? Why were any of these scenes thought of as like any kind of humor? Like, full of any kind of humor. Why was the slapstick so goddamn generic? Why were the attempts at emotional depth so goddamn just landing with a thud, landing with a goddamn just boom, just they bounce and everything. He wasn't a bouncer, he just fell down and stayed there. Look, there are real issues that could have been addressed in this movie. It could have been a decently light slapstick movie, and there are things that could have been touched on properly in this movie, things that are mentioned, the depression that women feel when they give their life to somebody, and when they, they want certain things that a guy doesn't want, or a guy wants certain things that a woman doesn't want, or a man wants certain things another man doesn't want, or vice versa, whatever the fuck. And women going through tremendous changes and going through all the biological changes, the body chemistry, the fact that they fuck their damn body up and they fuck themselves up mentally, physically, emotionally to bring life into this goddamn world. Again, there are things that could have been touched on here. And I thought Megan actually, the actress playing Megan, she did a decent job overall. But the thing is every bit of this feels manufactured, hackneyed, and just scraped out, and just like, it's like sanded off. It's like we're just getting a block with no sharp edges or whatever. It's just content to consume. And yes, that's what streaming services essentially are. But kind of pregnant, this is not kind of bullshit. This really is goddamn bullshit. No wire hangers. This movie deserved a goddamn wire hanger right up to you-know-what before the thought was ever goddamn conceived, because this movie is a slap in the face to women that actually go through things, women that actually could have made this work. There are countless other women that could have made this concept work. You could, I don't know if you could put Nicole Kidman in this. I don't know if Nicole Kidman would have done this stuff. You can't tell me that there aren't at least 10 other women they could have put in this role that would have worked. You could have put Melissa McCarthy in this, and I'm not the biggest fan of Melissa McCarthy, but at least she would have been able to add something to this. She's above this kind of material. Amy Schumer isn't necessarily. The rest of the cast is. But there are just so many unanswered questions here, like why in the world she thinks she could get away with this? Why in the world did anybody think this is a good idea to pitch this? Every Netflix executive that thought that this is a good idea to fund this. You guys deserve the absolute worst karma. How dare you? They earn more money in one goddamn day than I'm going to earn my entire goddamn life, but I digress. Also, she's a teacher. She swears around her goddamn kids. And not like a bad teacher situation. She also talks about her holes at one point. I don't really understand why any of this is supposed to be funny. Jillian Bell, I felt so bad for her. Will Forte, who is actually pretty good. I kept going to call him Will Forte because I'm just like that. But who would have thought that Amy Schumer should play a teacher? Because who thinks that she has any knowledge to pass on except, hey, kids, don't be an idiot like me. She has made more money than anybody I currently know. And, you could probably take the combined income of myself and a few of my friends and put them together, and it wouldn't even come close to anything that she has earned for even one or two movies. But you cannot tell me that this film was anything other than just stuff that was hacked out. And Amy Schumer should be embarrassed, but she doesn't have any shame. She basically showed that she has no goddamn pride. She will take on stuff like this. And essentially, Amy Schumer just flat out embarrassed women that really do go through a lot of stuff. There are women that are her size, if we really want to get like this, that could have made this role work, that would have actually given it the levity and the, like the emotional depth or whatever they deserved, or even the comedy, but actually treat it with respect. But Amy Schumer doesn't respect film. She doesn't respect people. She does not honestly respect the human race, because if she did, she would fade away into fucking obscurity and go off with her millions or whatever, or just do stuff that maybe, I don't know, brainless slugs would enjoy consuming. I hated this movie. From the very beginning, I knew I wasn't going to like this, and I just ended up hating it because it was so manufactured and bullshit. It's on Netflix. I'm going to spoil things, so there you go. Yeah, that right there. Okay. So we see her and Katie playing, birthing, like with two Cabbage Patch dolls. Apparently, Lainey's mother died when she was 6. That would be something to actually not justify the behavior, but something to dive into. But they didn't do that. Kate really just wants to, Kate wants her support. There's a point where she's on a toilet and finds a gray pew because that's what this film needed. And I don't mind gross out humor and everything, but when it's not earned, it's ridiculous. Also, she's on a fold out futon. Amy Schumer is, and then she gets launched by the couch because the couch is like, bitch, I don't want your goddamn douchebaggery on me. And at one point she gets ready for a date because Dave, who is not here for a while, man, Damon Wayans Jr., because we need more Wayans in this world. We really don't. I don't understand why they were allowed to produce, but I digress. She's waxing because that's what we need to fucking see is Amy Schumer waxing. And yeah, she ends up digging into this cake thinking, okay, it's looking for a ring. That would be a very dangerous thing to do, by the way, to put the ring in the cake. But it turns out he wants to take the relationship to the next level. And, hey, let's have a threesome. Because he wants more out of life. It's not that he doesn't care about her, but he also wants more out of life. Actually, I think it's just that he wants to sleep with other women. Mariah, oh my, dear me, that actress is cute. Yeah, Amy goes nuts, which might be funny if Amy Schumer had a funny bone in her body. And, yeah, she takes it out on her students. She burns some Shakespeare books. And then they just go outside. Oh, yes, and there's this character called Mrs. Newton that is like this Aussie or Kiwi or, I don't know, looked like she was carrying a kangaroo pouch too many times. I don't know what the hell her deal. Maybe she was kicked by a kangaroo. Maybe that's why the character was so stupid. But the hip-hop additions to the soundtrack were a choice. Not as bad as in Valiant 1, which, check out my review of that. It's the only thing I failed to mention with that fiasco. So, yeah, I wrote down Stop Talking About Your Holes, you dumb broad. There is a certain third letter of the alphabet and a word I want to say because it applies to Amy Schumer. Nevertheless, so basically, while at a coffee shop, she meets a guy talking about Old Navy, which must have been a sponsorship thing. Things are okay, but Shirley, played by Lizzie, she's also pregnant and a bit of a young teacher, but she is carrying a kid to term, but she also does a lot of drugs, and she's also a very young teacher, as I said. But because of jealousy, shortly after meeting Josh, she decides to fake a pregnancy. Doesn't see Josh for a bit, and goes to prenatal yoga, meets Megan, and then we get all this bullshit going on where Megan has a kid along with her husband, Steve, who ends up stabbing her with a knife. And I thought it was a fake knife. No, she really got stabbed with that knife. But the kid's like all confused. You know, the kid actually looked like a bastardized version of the one from Pet Sematary. I kind of wish that kid met the same fate and wasn't resurrected. Never mind. I'm getting mean. I probably should stop. But there was a party where a gender reveal party where Fallon, Miss Newton got knocked into the pool. I forget the actress's name. It's some very weird thing. I think it's like It's not Ursula, but it's close. So, yeah, after the kid stabs her in the stomach, she ends up seeing Josh because it turns out that Josh is actually the brother of Megan. So he's living in the garage because he's had a rough go. He also works on an ice skate rink with a Zamboni. And then he knocked out the power and the feed and everything at one point. And Austin was driving the Zamboni and beating up Vince McMahon. God, if only Vince McMahon was run over by a Zamboni. Nevertheless. So, yes, Josh and her basically fall for each other. None of this is funny. She keeps doing the teacher stuff. She ends up stuffing a balloon. She has to pretend to have a kid or to be expecting a kid when she's around Megan and such and Josh, but when she's around Kate, she can't pretend that because Kate knows her. At one point, she's out shopping with Kate and her husband Mark, who seems very distracted, not necessarily... It's not that he doesn't want a kid, I think, but he's not necessarily being there for her. But yeah, she dives into a toy thing at one point to avoid everybody because the kid sees her as like, no, baby, I kill baby, ah. Yeah, somebody probably should have killed this movie idea and replaced it with something else, or at least a different actress. Josh is good with kids. Josh wants to have a kid. The worst sex scene I have ever seen in my life because she doesn't want him to touch her or any of this. And the garage door ends up opening, like, inadvertently, so neighbors see her. Luis Guzman shows up as a hobo. At least I think that was Luis Guzman. I don't know why they've reduced him to this, because he's actually a pretty damn good actor. So Shirley ends up hearing, while Laney's talking to Miss Newton, hey, we need to get rid of the baby. And wait, get rid of the baby. No, don't do that. Oh, yes, and Shirley also earlier was doing live streaming. That's important for later. There's a butterfly exhibit comedy thing where Newton freaks out and threatens an old lady that looked like she was around when World War I occurred. And I noted that Amy Schumer is a stupid person. Not even the character. Amy Schumer is just a stupid person. So, they make a jerking off a boy alpaca joke for coffee creamer. That's where we're at here. And yeah, at one point for another baby shower or something, she stuffs a turkey underneath and puts it like that. And then when Shirley basically is trying to say, oh, she's going to get rid of the baby, we're pro-choice. So no, I'm not pregnant, this kind of stuff. By the way, we have about 20 minutes left of this movie. That's with end credits. Maybe 23. So we don't have a lot of time to basically do the Hallmark sprint, as I call it, going all the way to the goddamn end with a redemption arc. Kate's okay with it because she said she knew something was wrong, and she understands why Lainey was upset. Your best friend basically wanted to take attention away from you because she was jealous. That's not really a good best friend, but whatever. It's fine. And then she apologizes to Megan. And Megan's actually like, you could have just told me. I know what it is to be a woman and everything and deal with that stuff, regardless of like pregnancy or not. And then she tries to apologize to Josh. She says, have you ever done anything stupid in the name of love? He doesn't answer. And then Dave ends up showing up, and she basically plays along like she's still pregnant, but then takes the thing off and says, you could have just been honest. And Dave was like, I wanted more stuff. He's like, I wanted more. And she says success, and he said pussy, which, whatever. And he apologizes, in all honesty, because he should have been more honest with her, but still kind of a dick thing to do. And then, yeah, she is back in school. She probably should go back to school and learn how to act like an actual human. But, oh, wait, they're teaching Fallon how to swim. She's being good with the kids. She was there at the birth of, Kate's kid. And then she's back teaching. And then Josh shows up in the Zamboni. And then they do comedy wrecking things. And that's it. And love conquers all. I assume, I don't know. Everybody should be arrested that funded this. I mean, this was an abomination. Abomination against filmmaking in general. Film died a little bit because of a film like this. Nevertheless, it gets an F in case you didn't figure that out from the opening. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Rentlin, and I'll see you soon.